Right now on the news at 6, we learned today downtown is getting some help in the crime fight. Memphis police planning a second crime center to help catch the bad guys and maybe make them think twice before they commit crimes. We're live downtown to break it all down.
Also at 6, our exclusive Verified team finds out if it would be legal for the new Trump administration to use the U.S. military to deport millions of people who are here illegally.
And what a year it's been for high school football in the 901. 6 teams are just 2 wins away from the state championship. Tonight we'll preview a big night on the high school gridiron. ABC 24 News at 6 starts right now. Well, who among us isn't ready for some good news about Memphis crime? And it came from the mayor himself, who today says there's been a major reduction in crime this year compared to the past 2 years. Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom.
And I'm Pepper Baker. The news came when the mayor addressed the Greater Memphis Chamber's Chairman's Circle today. But that wasn't the only good news he delivered. ABC 24's Scott Mattis is live downtown to explain. Good evening, Scott.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, live downtown. I'm in front of a vacant building. I'll get to that in a second because that's very important to this plan. But strategic planning is essentially what was the result of these amazing numbers that were given to us this afternoon. Now, this building in particular, this is going to be home to a brand new MPD command center just across the street from Beale Street. The city of Memphis is assuring business leaders that crime is down from last year, and they have the numbers to prove it. In downtown Memphis, crime is down by 26.4%, and citywide, it has decreased by 13.8% year-to-date when compared to 2023. The city went on to say violent crime downtown is down nearly 34%. Across the city, it's down just over 19% in the same time frame. The city's data goes on to say Memphis numbers are dramatically lower when compared to national numbers, and possibly the most critical data showing a decrease in total crime in 2024 when compared to the last 5 years of data. However, the same information also shows violent crime in downtown Memphis is still dramatically higher when compared to the years 2019, 2020, and 21. But when compared citywide, 2019 and 2024 numbers are nearly identical. The mayor went on to detail plans for the future in an effort to reduce crime, which includes a new downtown command center, which is under construction and located near Peabody Place. Also, 183 new cameras will be added downtown to the existing 246. These cameras will also have AI technology ingrained in them once they're installed downtown. Chief Davis tells me the Shelby County Sheriff's Office typically serves warrants, but because there are so many in the backlog, MPD is helping to pick up the slack.
So in the last 2 months or so, our officers have executed over 480 outstanding warrants on violent offenders. It makes a difference because some of these individuals have been continuing to commit crimes.
One of the other initiatives, the city is looking to expand their use of gun detecting dogs in downtown Memphis. They want this to serve as a deterrent for anyone who brings guns where they're not permitted. All right, back out here live downtown Memphis, Peabody. Now, some of these initiatives, they have not been put into place yet, and those that have not, that need to be approved by City Council, well, they will be presented to City Council next week on Tuesday. As for this brand new command post or center, if you will, it will be visible just like this, except when it's all said and done next April, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of Memphis police officers and other workers manning those computers, looking at those cameras. For now, live downtown, I'm Scott Mattis.
Finally putting plans into action, Scott. Thank you. Well, the man who testified against his brother in the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph won't spend any more time in jail as long as he stays out of trouble. Today, a judge sentenced Jermarcus Johnson to 6 years diversion. He must complete 20 hours of community service each year, and if he avoids being arrested during that time, his record could be expunged. Johnson pleaded guilty to 3 counts of being an accessory in Young Dolph's murder last October. But his brother, Justin, was convicted last September of gunning down the rapper almost 3 years ago. He was sentenced to life in prison plus a total of 50 more years.
News right now, another inmate has died while in custody at the county lockup, bringing to 7 the number of deaths at 201 Poplar so far this year.
The Shelby County Sheriff's Office found 60-year-old Lawrence Sumlin unconscious this morning around 3:30. Paramedics were unable to save him. Now, since this news broke, our team has been looking into Sumlin's death.
Stephen Reels is here now with what he's learned, including how this all went down. Stephen?
Hey, Richard Pepper. Now, officials arrested Lawrence Sumlin, who was facing several burglary charges yesterday, but he had only been in 201 Poplar for a brief moment before he lost his life.
Unfortunately, death will occur, no matter where you're at.
The loss of Lawrence Sumlin marks at least the 69th death of an inmate at 201 Poplar since 2016, and at least the 7th so far this year. On Thursday, Sumlin was taken into custody on 4 charges, including aggravated burglary and theft. However, moments after he was taken to the jail itself, Sumlin was found passed out in the intake area Friday morning.
That's the area when you first come into the jail, when you're first being arrested.
According to Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner, Sumlin had no injuries when he was brought in. And as opposed to previous cases like Jershon Freeman, where an inmate was beaten to death, this appeared to be a medical emergency.
So no second party is expected to have been involved in this at all either?
As early on in the investigation, and we're still very early into the investigation, but we don't believe so.
At the request of Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy, the case has officially been turned over to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, who will investigate what was the cause of Sumlin's death.
We have a very unhealthy community with diabetes, all kinds of sicknesses. So just because you come to the jail doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden get healthy.
And Richard Pepper, from what Bonner had told me, the intake area where Sumlin was found, that's actually where the inmates talk about their medical issues with nurses. However, Bonner said there are some cases where inmates don't actually share all of their issues, so this is one of the details we are still waiting to hear about. Back to you.
All right, Stephen, best of luck in Hartford, by the way. Stephen's leaving us to join our station in Hartford, Connecticut.
Thank you.
Good luck. Well, tonight, Memphis police are confirming 2 reports of Venezuelan gang activity in our area. MPD says the TBI has identified the gang as Tren de Aragua, or TDA, and that the gang is active in every major city in our state. The gang first became visible in Memphis last year when graffiti was sprayed on the Appling Farms police station. And just this week, ICE arrested a suspected member who had outstanding warrants and was transported to Louisiana to be deported. TDA gained national attention this year and is notorious for its involvement in human trafficking, drug trafficking, and theft rings.
Also new tonight, a Memphis hotel is now closed, labeled a public nuisance due to complaints about gangs, drugs, and violent crimes. Authorities today shut down the Economy Hotel on Lamar Avenue. MPD said from August of 2022 to August of this year, officers responded to nearly 1,000 calls and took almost 200 offense reports about crimes at and around the hotel. The crimes included robberies, burglaries, drugs, and car thefts. So far, officers have arrested 41 people.
It's been a cold day here across the Mid-South, only in the low 50s this afternoon, and temperatures are starting to drop pretty quickly here. It's a clear night, and that's going to help us really cool it down. You can see clouds and radar, not too much to speak of. There are some high clouds moving in from the Midwest here, but other than that, things are very quiet, and you can see our temperatures beginning to drop. 41 degrees in Covington, 44 in Memphis, 45 in Bolivar, 43 in Covington, 44 in Tunica, and 42 currently in Truman. Likely waking up to temperatures in the low 30s outside the city and right around the mid-30s here in Memphis to start off your Saturday morning. So if you are heading out tonight, you're going to need that coat. You're going to be right around 41 degrees here in Memphis, right around 10 p.m., 39 around 1 a.m. And it looks like we are going to warm up as we head into the weekend. We're going to have the details on that, but also a sneak peek of that Thanksgiving forecast coming up.
Looking forward to it. Corey, thank you. In education news tonight, Tennessee State University has mapped out a plan to avoid a $46 million shortfall. And this comes as the historically black university keeps struggling just to make payroll. Earlier this year, Governor Bill Lee appointed a new board of trustees after lawmakers voted to get rid of the entire board. A state audit showed the institution's numerous financial challenges over the years. To avoid getting more into debt, TSU plans to repurpose $32 million in federal pandemic relief funds, as well as secure $7 million owed to the university by Saudi Arabia. The plan would also free up millions more through vendor contract negotiations, reducing expenses, and increasing fundraising.
New tonight, the governing board of Mississippi's public universities has decided to delete the word diversity from several of its policies. Board members say they approved the changes in order to ensure continued compliance with state and federal law. The move comes after a recent Supreme Court ruling that decided race could not be considered when admitting students to college. That's when several universities in Mississippi renamed their diversity offices.
A Mississippi teacher is no longer employed after giving students what she thought was beef jerky, but was actually beef treats for dogs. This is pretty bizarre. This happened in Calhoun City, which is just south of Oxford. The school district says 8 kids had at least one bite of the dog treats, one even going to the doctor with a stomach ache. The treats were a part of a birthday celebration for a few of the students.
A birthday celebration that went terribly wrong, it sounds like. Well, a new pick for the nation's top law enforcement official. Next, we're taking a closer look at President-elect Trump's latest choice for Attorney General.
But first, can President-elect Donald Trump use the military to help deport millions of undocumented immigrants, as he said he wants to do? Our exclusive Verified team has the answer on the other side of the break.